Hey, what's going on, guys? It is yours truly, and for this unnecessary gaming commentary, I will be doing something a little different from the normal content I produce because I want to share my thoughts on the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo that dropped a couple of days ago. Also, all these thoughts are based on my experience with the demo as well as watching other people play it, so I completely understand if you don't agree with my opinion. Now, I have set out some topics to discuss regarding the game, and I'll do it in this order. I'll start with the pre-release, meaning the atmosphere leading up to the demo, then the story covered, then graphics, gameplay, character and voice acting, then my overall thoughts about it. Fair warning, there will be some spoilers for the demo and some slight references to the original story. Anyway, let's get started. Everyone was pretty much hoping for some news regarding the game's release because of how close we are to the release date, but no one really expected them to drop this out of the blue. Now, there were rumors of the demo leaking a couple of months ago, and some sources said it would be around 22 gigabytes, but this was obviously not true because we got the demo worth less than 8 gigs. But honestly, we should have seen it coming because they were kind of hinting at the demo because, for one, they dropped it literally on the eve of its first intended release date, and two, majority of the Final Fantasy games on the PlayStation Store and Steam went on sale for a limited period. Still, the demo was a very welcome surprise. For the demo itself, they pretty much give you 1 hour's worth of gameplay, but to give you guys a quick summary of it, you start off with the title screen and then it has a little disclaimer that says that the demo won't necessarily reflect the final product, while the awesome Final Fantasy prelude plays in the background. When you start, you'll be asked to pick some camera settings and set the difficulty of the game. There are 3 modes. You get Classic, Easy, and Normal, with the Classic being a turn-based alternative playing style with the difficulty set on Easy. I'll explain that a bit more when I get to the gameplay. The game begins with a shortened opening, which is presumably one of the early opening sequences made before releasing the full opening a few weeks ago. Then you're greeted with the same cast in the original: Biggs, Jesse, Wedge, and Barrett. And then he calls out for Cloud to
get down here, Merc.
The game then seamlessly transitions from cutscene to gameplay, and you get full control over Cloud. The game then gives you the basics to fighting as you make your way from the train station to the Shinra reactor. You learn how to use tactical mode, block and dodge, interact with chests, and use the main menu. You get to hear a little bit of side banter from the group when they try to unlock the gate, while Wedge tries to be overly friendly with Cloud, whom then shuts him down pretty quick.
They may not think you're a true believer, but you know what I think?
Not interested.
You fight more guys as you get deeper and deeper into the reactor, with Barrett trying his best to intimidate you. Wedge splits with the group to secure an escape route, while Biggs stays behind to guard passageways. Jesse, Cloud, and Barrett finally find their way to the reactor core after fighting more enemies. Barrett and Cloud head to the core with Jesse standing guard. Barrett makes Cloud set the bomb to prove he won't double-cross them. He does, but not without having a Sephiroth migraine teaser. You get to choose how long to set the timer, like in the original game, and are rudely interrupted by one of the hardest first bosses in any game I have ever fought. He has multiple phases after dealing certain amounts of damage to him, and as each phase passes, he goes on a rampage and starts destroying the area. After you beat him though, his laser goes crazy and falling debris activates the bomb's timer. You get out of there quick, but not without the cliche damsel in distress, so the main character has to go save her. It happens twice. You fight your way out the same way you came in, and then you run into these assholes who are much harder to fight than you think.
Ain't you supposed to be a professional?
Then the demo basically ends with the entire Shinra reactor exploding because of some 9/11 conspiracy theory. and we get some teasers to the events after the demo. Interestingly enough, Tifo was mentioned but never shown even in the teasers. I think the demo was made before the Tifo reveal in E3 last June, but that's just my assumption. But after the teasers, they give you an option to purchase the game, and then it takes you back to the title screen where you can choose to start playing the demo again. Fun fact, there's actually a secret ending where if you set the timer to 20 minutes instead of 30, you get an extra scene in the end with Sephiroth. Graphics were great. Enough said. The gameplay was a you have to try it to understand it kind of thing. Anyway, like I said before, there are 3 different modes. There's classic, easy, and normal. Normal and easy have the same playing style but differ in difficulty. Classic uses the easy difficulty, but the fighting is pretty different. Cloud basically moves on his own while you input commands on what attacks he should perform, so it literally acts like a dynamic turn-based battle system or a hybrid turn-based battle system. Normal plays like a regular hack and slash, so it's pretty intuitive. The dodging and blocking buttons are pretty straightforward, but it takes some getting used to for the timing. The main feature in battling is tactical mode. Basically, when the ATB gauge fills up, you can use abilities, magic, and items via tactical mode. It just slows everything down while you get to choose your action. Cloud can't really jump. He will jump automatically if he locks on to an enemy in the air, however. Speaking of the locking on mechanic, the demo kinda gives you some confusing controls. You see, it tells you that you can lock onto a target by pressing R3, which is completely fine. But they give you options for switching targets. You can either use the D-pad or the right analog stick. The problem with that is if you get used to switching with the D-pad, you'll get confused when you have multiple party members, since you can switch between them with the D-pad as well. So it gets a bit confusing while you're in battle and want to switch targets, you'll end up switching characters by mistake because of the similar controls. Admittedly, it's not that big of a deal since you can force teach yourself to use the right analog stick, but this whole ordeal could have been avoided with better button mapping. Exploring wasn't really a big focus for the demo, as Square just gave us a linear segment to work with, obviously to highlight the new battle system. But based on the character's movement animations and physics, the movement itself is pretty solid. They made the sprint button either L3 or R1, which was okay for the demo, but personally, I used L3 more often to sprint. Overall, battling was really fun and it felt like a fresh take. However, there is a slight learning curve that anyone who hasn't experienced the game yet still has to go through. I'm honestly glad they didn't go the dodge parry route that Final Fantasy 15 did, because that made a lot of the battles in that game really repetitive and frankly boring the longer you played it. Overall though, fantastic gameplay. Starting off, the character designs are amazing. The graphics department helped a lot with how they brought our favorite polygons up to the realm of HD. Wedge, Biggs, and Jesse all got makeovers and look great. Wedge's voice actor really fits the character just by the way he tries to talk to Cloud. You can clearly see how Square is trying to make him as lovable as possible for the future events of the game, wink wink. Biggs has this very hoarse manly voice, which is supposed to be like the cool friendly dude that everyone can talk to. You can hear him interacting with Jesse, which gives you hints that they're either best friends or that Biggs might have feelings for her.
Looks are what people notice first.
You'll
Guess I'm not on the same page as
right,
people.
Cloud?
I'd say you're not even reading the same book.
Wow, they've almost got the door.
On the other hand, Jesse is totally crushing over Cloud and basically flirts with him throughout the entire demo. She even asks him what his relationship with Tifa was and if they're close, which is typical anime girl speak for "are you available?" Jessie was particularly highlighted as she probably got the most speaking lines other than Barrett and Cloud. She's there from the beginning up till the end. Cloud helps her a couple of times, and she always has something to say to him, prompting Cloud to tell her to
Shut up and climb. You're not helping.
Sorry, it keeps me focused. I'll freak out if I don't talk.
Next, we have Barrett, who when I look back at the original is actually a really faithful portrayal of the character. I initially didn't like his voice actor when the first trailer released, but it grows on you after a while.
You better be worth the money, Merc. Every last gil.
Barrett's voice actor does a great job getting the emotion down when he goes on his environmental advocate speech. They end up having a funny moment with Cloud right after.
Playing crying out in pain? I know you can!
You really hear that?
Damn straight I do!
Get help.
Cloud, on the other hand, was really well done. Coming from someone who's played the original, Cloud's voice actor did so great in emulating the original dialogue. It was pretty mysterious, professional, which is basically code for kind of a dick, but you still think he's kind of cool. He has this weird migraine thing going on, which is connected to Sephiroth. This is a new addition, but longtime fans know exactly what's up with that. He's brooding most of the time, but he does smile at the end when Jesse compliments him. Other than that, he looks really cool and is a great update in his design compared to his Advent Children and Dissidia looks. In the end, all the characters look really great. Their dialogue and personalities are very interesting, and I'm happy to announce that even Square mentioned that they will be fleshing out Wedge, Biggs, and Jesse's backstory, which was never done in the original game, so there's that to look forward to. Overall, the demo was super fun to play, and I highly recommend the game not only to longtime Final Fantasy veterans, but to newcomers as well. Sure, there won't be the same appreciation for certain Easter eggs alluding to the original game, but Final Fantasy VII's story is so fantastic on its own that I have no doubt that a lot of first-timers are really going to enjoy the game nonetheless. Well, that's a wrap for this video. If I glossed over something you wanted to talk about, or if you completely disagree with some of the things I said, please leave a comment down below so we can have a discussion about it there. If you liked the video, please hit the like button, subscribe for more content, and if you have time, I'm doing a walkthrough on the PS4 Kingdom Hearts Final Mix version, so if you want, you can go check that out. But more importantly, a lot of the footage I used here was of my playthrough of the demo I posted a couple of days ago, so if you want to see the gameplay in full, you can go check that out. Anyway, this has been yours truly, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.